And you're in tune to rather station, WBAI 99.5 FM, WBAI.org. Don DeBar, are you there?
Here, Lister. How are you, friend?
Not too bad, not too bad. Michael G said you scared the hell out of him. And it seems like some people were listening to you that they ran PSA, a promotion.
Yeah.
You want to tell me about it, Don DeBar, since you're scaring the SHIT out of people?
Yeah, I guess someone at the City of New York office, emergency preparedness or whatever the hell they call it, decided it's time to dust off that old Burh the turtle and come up with a new version of Duck and Cover. And it's not even Duck and Cover anymore, but they prepared a 90-second video to tell you what to do in the event of a nuclear attack on New York City. Wonder why people are thinking, hey, maybe we need to come up with a plan for this, since they're fighting it out on Russia's border now since February, and pumping more and more weapons in there, and now training so-called Ukrainian troops in the UK and elsewhere in Europe. This is going to spread pretty fast and pretty soon if they don't back off. So here's the advice of the City of New York in the event of a nuclear bomb drop on New York City. After the explosion, they tell you to 1, go inside, 2, stay inside, and 3, stay tuned, like turn on the radio. So the TV, the very people who have not been telling you anything about this war that the Biden administration is conducting against Russia are now going to tell you what to do after the bomb falls on you.
That's amazing. I mean,
and I assume they spent some money. They have no money for textbooks or housing or whatever, but they've got money to make this. Somebody thinks that it's necessary.
Right. This is amazing. This is really, really amazing. I mean, they're gonna lie to you and tell you this is not gonna happen, but they're gonna run a PSA and tell you that this is going to happen. Right? Yep. Then they're gonna tell you to tune into the liars, right? Who told you nothing about what is happening to you right now when it's too late. It's like I said. When you're trying to convince people to keep 99 Cinco going, especially with the bills that they have with the Tower Fund, and the point you made is that it's situations like this type of platform that they're not connected to, and by the time they get around to being connected to, it's too late, because the body bags, there won't be any body bags on a nuclear meltdown. I didn't see no body bags in that promo. Did you?
Not yet. I couldn't tell about the fashion that the woman who was talking on camera was. Maybe that was a body bag with
nuclear fashion
modifications.
Nuclear.
Yeah, but they're telling you, the things are when you to get inside. This is after there's a nuclear explosion. You're supposed to get up, go inside, then change your clothes, because you might have radioactive stuff on your clothes, and take a shower to make sure you wash the radiation away.
Yeah. Now, why let me ask you a question. Why is Joe Biden standing in the middle of Palestine pissing off Palestinian people? Can you explain that to me?
Well, first of all,
and then in the middle of that, he says that he's gonna bomb the hell out of Iran, which, according to international law, is totally entitled to a nuclear bomb, just like all these other pigs out there, right?
Well, yeah, my favorite line over the week was actually out of his Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, who was talking about how the U.S. is the guarantor of the sovereignty of countries in the world. And I just wanted to ask them if that meant that they're abrogating the Monroe Doctrine.
Tell that to Grenada, right?
Yeah, tell it to most of
Latin America, Central America. Yeah.
In fact, if you ask the current president of Mexico about it, they'll say, no, actually, what you need to do is take that Statue of Liberty apart, because you guys don't do that anymore.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Then this criminal, this war criminal, this guy who should be in what kind of jail would they put John Bolton?
John Bolton?
Yeah, the guy who says that
they would give him a TV show on Channel 11. Remember, Officer Joe Bolton? That's right. John Bolton says, listen, the January 6th so-called insurrection was not an attempted coup.
Right.
He's right about that.
Yeah.
He says, take it from me, I'm an expert. I've managed so many coups that, I can tell you all about how it's done, basically. And he wasn't talking about, he was talking about an attempted one of Venezuela, that ridiculous one he tried, he was Trump's, assistant for a minute. Mm-hmm. But the real one, from the 80s forward, that's what he did. They tried Nicaragua. He helped engineer the damn war that they had in Nicaragua.
Listen, don't forget Haiti. We can name all the ones.
You mentioned Grenada. First of all, that was one of his children.
Right.
Yep. Haiti. How many coups have there been?
Panama.
I can't even count. Yeah,
Panama. I mean.
Yep. Well, let's see. Where was he on September 11, 1973? I guess he was not quite in power yet. Well, I mean, the United States has been doing coups since the United States was a coup.
Yeah.
There used to be people living here before these guys got here. They had their own little countries going on just fine.
Yeah. The man says he's going to show Negroponte how to do it. Another criminal who should be in jail, right? Remember Negroponte?
Yep. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
God,
right.
These guys are wicked. I mean, wicked.
A whole team of them.
Wicked.
Right. To tie them all back to back around a rocket ship and fire it to the sun. And if you were to do that, I'm not advocating that, mind you, because my goodness, I'd be kicked off from Facebook again for that. Right. But if you did do that, certainly there'd be a whole lot less pain and aggravation on this planet for millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
This would be kind of fun to watch them go when they get there.
Today's show is dedicated to the people on the streets of Sri Lanka. They ran Rajapaksa, who is a liar, a vicious liar, talking about he's going to resign. None of these guys resign. They hold on to power, right?
Everybody holds on
to
power.
This reminds me of Venezuela. This guy, Rajapaksa, he put somebody like, what's the guy, Juan Guaido?
Juan Guaido.
Yeah, he puts his version of Juan Guaido in charge of Sri Lanka. Can you believe that he expect the people to take this guy? This guy, nobody knows this guy. This guy can't even win a seat in Sri Lanka, right? He has no political legitimacy, etc., right? And they're playing footsie with the proletariats, the people on the streets in Sri Lanka, and they think they're gonna back down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
It's funny. It's funny. I was listening to the BBC cover this stuff, right? And it seems as if they select a bunch of watered down political people to talk to. You know what I mean?
Yep.
One guy was ragging against the radical left and the Maoists and the Marxists, taking the opportunity to help the proletariats in the streets and say, no, the people rejected that. You hear the propaganda?
Yes, I do.
I mean, they try to hijack every time the masses rise up to do the right thing, like in Haiti. They try to hijack the situation. There's gang wars happening down in Haiti right now. Byproduct of capitalism, huh?
They got their people on the ground waiting for when these things happen.
I mean, this is a joke.
It's even true in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
The National Endowment for Democracy and the rest of them, they were very busy there. They've been very busy there. So when something pops off because of the conditions that you're describing,
same thing they did.
Their position to have a hand in the outcome.
Same thing they did in the Ukraine. Same thing they did in the Ukraine in the early days, right? I guess
right.
John Bolton was trying to plan a coup that didn't work, right?
Yeah, they do it everywhere.
Everywhere. I mean, this is
your tax dollars at work.
This is American as apple pie, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
is apple pie really American, or is it from somewhere else? Whenever they say something like that, it makes me want to turn it over and see it says "Made in China."
Made in China. Yeah, amazing. Let me throw something at you. There's a political activist in Ghana. A prominent Ghanaian activist has accused the authorities there, subject him to violence, assault, and illegal detention after he criticizes the Ghanaian government. Oliver Baker Von Marwar, a doctoral student at the University of Cambridge in England, who founded the prominent, quote, Fix the Country protest movement in Ghana, in Accra, was arrested after he landed in Kotoka Airport in Accra. This happened in February. He was coming in from the UK. In a lawsuit he filed last month, he alleges that he had his passport confiscated before being taken to a room and beaten. They beat the hell out of him and tortured him for 3 hours by the security forces, the officials there. He says he was blindfolded and then taken in a convoy of police military vehicles to a cell, you know. And it goes on and on. He had no access for any help. In a call from a safe house in Ghana, Baker Von Marwar said his detention lasted for 2 months, included stints in a solitary confinement, something similar to Mummy Abu Jamal. The trauma of it still is there. I was suicidal, he said. Anyhow, so this is what they're claiming, that they had to beat the hell out of him and arrest him because he did like you, Don DeBar, went on Facebook and did like, you know, a double entendre thing about a coup, you know? And they took that and they're so paranoid politically and beat the hell out of this man. He says that international Ghana seems as if, you know, their profile is the standard bearer of good governance on the continent of Africa, you know? But here's a quotation that they said that he did. Levy, tax on financial transactions, right? And he said something about, you know, having a little, something about the little cool thing. But they just took it the way they took it and ran with it. What says you, Don DeBar?
Well, he has an interesting history also. We're talking about, you know, Oliver Barker, former war. Mm-hmm. He was foreign minister for a while, back 10 years ago maybe or something.
Okay.
He resigned to take a job with the United Nations.
Mm-hmm.
Suffice to say that the United Nations is not a neutral territory, nor is it the playground of the intelligence agencies of Russia or China. The U.S. government has a pretty firm lock on the bureaucracy of the United Nations. If you look at what comes out of the mouths of even the Secretary Generals, but also like the fact that a place like Saudi Arabia ends up as the chair of the Human Rights Organization. This is not necessarily proof of his creds as an activist player, like an independent, indigenous activist, but rather of a sort of a toady in waiting. So you have to look at that in that context. The government of Ghana has very close relations with the United States, which tells you also that, of course, any genuine reform or revolutionary is going to suffer exactly this kind of treatment. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying that there are contradictions that make it basically say, be cautious.
Yeah. I hear you. Then, you ready for this one? CIA engineer convicted in biggest theft ever. The agency claims the top federal prosecutor in Money Making Manhattan said that Joshua Smollett had engaged in one of the most blatant, damaging acts of espionage in American history. Whenever something like that goes down, I call that dude a whistleblower. What do you say?
Yeah.
I call him a whistleblower, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And what do they do with whistleblowers? They go to prison or they execute them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're talking about somebody who was charged with feeding WikiLeaks with some of the
Julian Assange
information that they had. Yeah, about some of the crimes of the United States government.
Right.
We're spying on everybody in the world. No problem. Don't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spy on us.
Right.
Don't watch us while we spy on everybody in the world. One would think, okay, if these are really the angels that they claim to be, that if they're really keepers of the world peace and world justice and world prosperity, well, you could make a case that, well, all right, let's at least talk. But these are the guys that are conducting nuclear war already. They're conducting a war that may well end up being a nuclear war.
Yeah.
Right now, with Russia on Russia's borders, they're threatening the same with China. They're making a statement. They made the statement, Lincoln or one of them made the statement the last couple of days, that these bastions of democracy, the three lights of democracy on the planet right now, are Ukraine, Taiwan, where the hell was the other one? Some other loony spot like that. And this is where we need to be engaged. In other words, global war. I think I mentioned it last week, but I'll mention it again because people are starting to get the word about this. I was on Crosstalk yesterday, and Peter Lavelle had been aware of it as when I brought it up, which is that the U.S. State Department, 2 weeks ago, I think it is now, through the CSCE, the thing on collective security in Europe, they held a webinar, internet seminar, with a group of speakers. The thesis was to decolonialize Russia. And the thesis is Russia is not really a nation state. It is an empire, which is a collection of different nations that have all been subjugated by the evil Russian hordes over the last 500 years, and they need to be liberated. And the Russian Empire broken up into its constituent nationalities.
Yeah.
So in other words, not only regime change, but smashing Russia. Exactly what Hitler essentially advocated doing when he wrote that little bookie in his jail cell back in 1924.
Yeah.
He was saying, looking at Russia as the last colony available in the world, because everybody else had been taken, and saying that all the things we need, the gas and oil to power our economy, and basically the slave labor to build stuff for us, and the land that we need to expand our population, is all there.
Yeah.
So we have to take it. The only way to take it is to look at the various nationalities that live within it, excite the contradictions between them, have them fight with each other, and walk in and swoop it up. And that's what he tried to do. And as a matter of fact, what we're seeing right now, some of it is the direct descendants of his effort, including particularly Ukraine, where the national hero that they revived is the guy who was Hitler's buddy back then.
Very true.
That's U.S. policy.
Yeah.
Since then, since 2 weeks ago, when this ugly creature came out, in the sunshine, Zelensky's people have been saying that the goal is to break Russia and liberate all of the different nationalities inside the Russian Federation. U.S. State Department has said it publicly also, and a number of other international officials, notably not Germany, have made the same claim.
Yeah. I was listening to Joe Lauria the other day, the editor-in-chief of the Consortium News, And he documented, he echoed every damn thing you've been saying on Burn Baby Burn.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And he made the point that when it came to America doing their military special operations in Panama, Grenada, all of that invasion stuff, they never got any security approval in the United Nations or clearance or any of that crap.
That's right.
They just went ahead and did exactly that. And he says that this nuclear thing is real. It is as real as the Webb telescope showing you what's in front of your nose. It's as real as that. This nuclear situation. It's not a joke.
I don't remember even when Reagan was acting out crazy on the radio talking stuff about I just signed legislation outlawing Russia. The bombing starts in 10 minutes. Even then, I don't remember the city of New York updating, the duck and cover nonsense.
Exactly.
And they're doing it now.
Exactly. The hypocrisy of Canada. Canada will return a repaired Russian turbine to Germany that it needs for the Nord Stream 1 gas pipeline, despite objections from Ukraine. These sanctions that they put up against Russia. Canada's Minister of Natural Resources, Jonathan Wilkinson, stated that it's a time-limited revocable permit. So they're undoing the sanction for just 15 minutes, and then it's back on, right?
Right. That's right. Yep. Listen.
Amazing. I gotta make a correction though. When I was speaking to you, I said $100 billion. I meant to say $100 million every day for 100 days straight. Okay? That's what Russia generated based upon imperialist USA's gang sanctions up against Russia. And the backfiring is what's happening to the economy of imperialist USA. I mean, they tried to do this. They tried to do this on the Trump with the sanction thing, and it backfired. And now it's backfiring again. This is crazy stuff. But let me ask you something. Why is Joe Biden carrying out Trump's policy in Palestine?
It's been U.S. policy since Palestine.
It has never changed, It has never changed, no matter what, right?
Yes, since Europe colonized Palestine and created the so-called State of Israel, that's been U.S. policy. Even Harry Truman helped, The only one who had a measure of skepticism about it was Eisenhower. The rest of them have all been pretty much on board.
This is one of the most disgusting trips. After you cut up an American journalist into bits and pieces, you go over to Saudi Arabia, kiss ass. Then before that, you go to Palestine and piss off all the Palestinian people. And then you say you're going to go bomb Iran.
Listen.
American foreign policy has never changed.
Look at the condition of things. First of all, you've got an inflation rate here that, by their numbers, is 9.5% per annum. That's the highest since Jimmy Carter. Mm-hmm. You have a condition where we are closer to nuclear war than we have been since 1962, since John F. Kennedy with the Cuban Missile Crisis. Most people now will say that we are closer than we were then. Mm-hmm. You have the actual decline in hourly and gross wages over the last year over year of 4.5%. You have printed almost half again as much money as existed, created an all-time up to a year ago, which means in essence you've suffered. The people that have money of any kind have suffered a loss, basically, of somewhere between 20 to 40% of what they own. Mm-hmm. This is and you have if you look at polling data, the legitimacy of the institutional structures of the United States and of European countries, of Japan, where they, by the way, just murdered Abe and others, record low. The clear legitimacy numbers are in the neighborhood of 20%. The people look at the institutions as being legitimate. Mm-hmm. They don't trust elections. They don't trust the media. They don't trust the government. and there's no remedy in sight, and the conditions are deteriorating. These are pre-revolutionary conditions that exist in the United States, across Europe, in Japan, in so-called South Korea, and the conditions are being exacerbated. And the solution, rather than doing like FDR and others have done over time, which is to throw some crumbs at people to help buy some social peace, the solution is to double down and just try to censor and cut off any social communication, whether it's through the media or through social media, and that somehow by squeezing tighter and tighter, you're going to be able to extract more value and not risk an uprising. And what they're doing, if you look at history, is forcing an uprising.
Oh boy. Am I right?
Meanwhile, this is while we're about to have a war. So this is kind of the engine behind having a war, by the way.
Am I right in saying the consumer price index went up 9.1% from last year's?
That's correct. That's what their numbers say, which means it's probably higher.
It's much higher. You know, they're lagging indicators when they come with their figures, right?
Yes, and they're rigged, like unemployment, for example.
Right.
You know, if you stop looking for a job, you're no longer unemployed.
Yeah. And then they add in the employment of the military and subtract that and then shrink it down, and then it looks good, right? Down the bar.
You're making license plates too.
Yeah. Sri Lanka is on my mind. How do you think it's going to pan out over there?
Don't know yet. I mean, it's in the context. Look, it's not the only place that saw a change in government. They drove Bolton out.
Right.
Now, who knows what that really means? I mean, he's a clown, good riddance, but who's going to take his place? And what's going to be their stand on war with Russia? And the same with Abe. Abe's party ended up winning an election where it looked like they might not.
Yeah.
Because rather than calling out his record of corruption, people didn't mention a word of that, and they got a sympathy vote for the party, for the LDP.
Yeah. The Sri Lanka thing makes me nervous because it seems like they're gonna just have everything settled back right into place, and then it's business as usual instead of just cleaning the whole system, eh? Huh?
Look at it on a map. Okay, it's off the southern coast of India. Okay, this is where a naval base that will help secure the western part of the South China Sea would be, like the ones that they got kicked out of.
Oh boy,
they're angling for it.
We're running out of time. How can we stay in touch with you? The listeners want to know.
Okay, go to my Facebook page, Don DeBar, or go to my Twitter, Don DeBar, or where else? I don't know. I was on Crosstalk. Look at the RT.com Crosstalk for yesterday.
Oh, good.
And I'm on PressTV.ir a lot.
All right. Don, we're going to do this on WSB 90.1 FM in Stony Brook on hopefully this Saturday.
Excellent. That will be great.
All right, and we're gonna get you back.
Take care of yourself.
We're gonna get you back.
How are you
here.
feeling, by the way?
I'm feeling not bad. I'm feeling much better. Seriously, I appreciate that.
But I'm glad. I'm glad. You take care of yourself. We're getting up there, you know.
Yeah, I know. And give my love to your sister and brother-in-law, please.
I will.
Definitely.
I will do that. You got it.
Down the bar, we got this African tune, brand new African tune. Well, it's not brand new. It's been around for about 2-3 months, but we're playing it for you. Just for you.
Before you go,
say
hello to the Italian doctor for me.
Oh yeah, I will. Can you believe she's in Italy? She's in Italy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh my God. I will.
Your daughter, buddy.
All right. Thank you, bro.
Go ahead. You take care of yourself.
Okay. Thanks, Don. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bud.
Yeah. Down the bar on the radio with Burn Baby Burn. Clappers. 51 minutes. After 4 o'clock, we'll do this flag burning thing of the imperious red, white, and blue until 5 o'clock. Burn, baby, burn. Clappers. Terry Wilson, this is for you.